So Napoleon Hill, he found out that people who are massively successful in the area of relationships and love, health, money, well-being, happiness, taking everything out of life that's there for you. They have a specific way of looking to certain life circumstances that they found out not everybody has, which if they had it, they would begin to look differently to certain situations. What I mean with that is they have the mindset, and maybe you already have that mindset too, that a challenging situation is the opportunity. And the challenging situation is the symbol for the thing that you need to get what you want. So Napoleon Hill has this famous quote, opportunity is disguised as temporary defeat or misfortune. That's weird. Why? Because he flips the perception upside down. So he found out that those massively successful people, and you're one of them, have this mindset that they are welcoming opportunities, welcoming challenging moments, because as soon as the challenging moment is there, or they can feel it, they ask themselves this question: what's the opportunity for me right here? Where do I need to become aware of so I can make a quantum leap? So, most people have learned that temporary defeat or misfortune is a way to give up, or to feel bad, or to reinforce negative beliefs, or reinforce limiting beliefs, because a challenging moment doesn't feel really good. It's a massive challenge for this organism that we are in nature, right? If you see yourself like a collection of energy and atoms, More Life principle is making you grow, making you bigger and expand. Everything is expanding. So the challenge is the doorway for a massive new expansion where you will become very aware of. So do you see, when you have those glasses on towards the challenge, the meaning changes. It becomes the doorway to a new landscape. If we go to the DMI, the dynamic mental imagery technique in hypnosis level 1.0, the client says, I want to be more confident. Okay, go to the sanctuary, close your eyes, orient. I'm going to count you from 10 to 1 to another place where the symbol will be waiting for you to get more confidence. Sometimes they are in a landscape and the symbol is not that pretty. And then sometimes the conscious mind says, no, I need to have a sweet symbol. Because sometimes the symbol can be anything. Just like in dreams, it's full of symbols. But the symbol that wasn't so pretty, or is not so pretty, has got exactly the information around it, in it, or somewhere close to it, that the client needs in order to make the transformation you came here for, or the client came in for in your practice. You see? So this same principle we are already using. What does it mean? I wonder what this symbol means in order to make this change. Or how is the problem already helping you to solve this situation so you can discover the solution? Napoleon Hill says, look to the challenge as the opportunity. So you're consciously choosing to see the challenge and the opportunity as the doorway, as the symbol for making the change. Sometimes people say, actually that thing that happened, when I look back to it now, that was exactly the thing that helped me to be where I am now. But at the time, I wasn't really so happy with it. Somebody knows somebody who has got that experience, or maybe yourself, right? That's the principle in action. Because just because we can't see, or your client can't see the opportunity yet, doesn't mean it's not there. Just like front and back. It must be there, right? So, and you were speaking about this a couple of times already. So the challenge or a problem you're having or currently facing is exactly the opportunity you need, or the problem that your client is trying to solve for years, is yet still the lesson that needs to become internalized if you start to look at it. So I was reading that for the first time, and I thought, wow, that's so inspiring, that's so amazing, that's wonderful. But then when I had a challenge, I felt bad and I forgot about that principle, right? So now you will remember. So that means that one time I had a massive, well, I had a little bit temporary defeat because I was on the airport traveling from, I was doing a program in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then I went from Charlotte, New York to Amsterdam. But on the way, on the flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Newark, there I was, and then it had 8 hours delay, right? And I was just learning about this thing. Pardon? One might say, right? But there was the opportunity, because a challenge or temporary defeat or misfortune has got exactly the thing you need, right? That's also very empowering, and every victim story stops. So I was, indeed, I thought, bummer. I was looking to the screen of the computer and I thought, I used another word, and I thought, 8 hours waiting here. Oh. So, and the chairs they had were plastic, they only had 4 left, most of the seats were taken. It was also in one part of the airport where there was not a lot of space, no Starbucks. And so I need to walk a lot. But then I suddenly realized, okay, I feel bad now. So this is great. There must be a massive opportunity here. And I started to feel happy around the opportunity, around the bummer. But I'm looking, I say, how can I be happy with 8 hours delay? Because I'm coming late there, and blah, 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 blah. I was going into the story, or in a reaction, instead of consciously choosing something else now. So I asked myself, where is the opportunity? And then I got the answer, because I suddenly realized that I always wanted to go inside the city of New York. And I was never been there. I've been a couple of times on the airport, and now I was again on the airport, and I had 8 hours or 6 hours of free time. So I took the train, the little train from Newark to New York, which you can do, it's about 20 minutes, and I was in New York. Finally, I was so happy. I walked out of the train station, I could see the big buildings, I was walking over the street, I could feel the energy where they always talk about in New York, it's so alive. And I had a great time, walking around 4 hours free time in New York, right? Instead of doing something else on the airport and being stuck in a meaning that I had learned to place on reality, which wasn't even mine, like bummer. So I moved beyond bummerness for the rest of my life now, just like other people now can do the same. If you want to, you can, because it's free. Perception is free, right? So go to a challenge that you have overcome already in your past. 2 little, medium challenges. And look back to see what did you learn from it, what was the opportunity in it that you might be aware of now. But it must be first exercise, 2 challenges that you have overcome, and it doesn't affect you anything at all anymore. Make sense? So choose a challenge you've overcome or a problem you've solved, small or big. Better small because we're doing an exercise and it's not therapy. So you can see what is the opportunity you gained from it. How did it help you grow? Because you can also look to a challenge. It's an area where you need to grow still in. That's also a great meaning to place on a challenging situation that you had in the past. Make sense? So write down 2 challenges and interview each other. So what did you learn from that? What did you gain from that? How did it make you a better person? Or you catch my drift? Who has questions about that exercise?
So I guess for me, I'm having a challenge accessing what the challenges were, because the way that I operate is I learn the lesson from it.
That's exactly the exercise.
Oh, okay. And then I amnesia out the other aspect of it, so
Yep.
I just take the pure lesson.
Very good.
So
That's a great strategy.
I think so.
Because the experience was there to teach you the lesson. It was never about suffering.
Right.
Good. So that's the exercise. You can choose 2 things where you got a great lesson out,
Perfect. Okay, cool.
right? You don't have to talk about the memory, it's about the lesson.
Honestly, most of them I could not remember.
Well, choose something simple, like first I didn't know how to do the dishes, and now I learned how to do the dishes, so I have a clean house. It can be also on that level.
Oh, okay,
It's
cool.
basically any lesson you've learned where that makes you grow. Right? Other questions before we get started? Okay, take 5 minutes per person, and then we come back and we go to the next exercise.